my show. I'm a $1 billion star podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so let's welcome, ladies and gentlemen, everyone out there who has been supporting this podcast. And this podcast is an awareness from my book, I'm a $1 billion star. And this book is written on the state, keeping a vibration of wealth and not to live a life of lack. So let's welcome Mr. Rotarian. Now I am actually pronouncing it correctly. uh, Chakradhari Rowe, who is a professional in protection and counter-terrorism, security architect and life coach, bringing over a decade of his experience in tactical training and in critical life skills training to over 7,000 individuals, and also a motivational speaker. With a robust background as a tactical instructor and security architect from the International Security Academy, Israel, Mr. Chakradhari Rowe has a lot of experience in close protection, counterterrorism, security architect, and personal protection too. And that is one of the reasons I'm very interested in this episode, and I'm sure you guys out there across the globe would be very, very thrilled to know more in this episode from him. But before that, before we go ahead in this episode, I would love to give a quick shout out to a very interesting book called Royal Paradise. And the conceptualizer is Mr. Priyank Desai, and he's the sponsor also. And I'm author of the book, and this book is based on bully and abuse. And when he was a child, he actually encountered bully because of his lean body, and that affected him psychologically, and he could not focus on his study. So like that, a lot of kids are bullied, and parents might not pay attention to that. Teachers might not pay attention to that. Likewise, bully and abuse can be faced by many people at any stage. This book, I have written it, and please buy it. Very soon it will come up. And in upcoming episode, Priyank Desai will be there sharing about it, how you can empower yourself, how to kill your inner bully. And if you're a solo traveler across the globe, then you might face bully and abuse, and how you can protect yourself. And a lot of things we are going to get to know from Mr. Chakradhari also, that will also prepare you to actually read this book. So this book and your informations are quite similar, because a person can face bully and abuse anywhere alone. And that is written in my book also, in Royal Paradise.
Correct.
So that's a quick shout out. So we'll come to know more fact from him. So are you excited to be in my show? I know that's
Absolutely.
something else
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
have to ask. Okay. So we'll talk on many segments, and there will be more episodes related to you, to all the topics we are going to integrate here. Today we will pay attention more to how to integrate and make it more normalized, like social security culture, women issue also. A lot of women face a lot of issues in day-to-day life, and how to normalize it, as well as kids training too, because it's related to Royal Paradise book also. I would love to know how a child psychology can be prepared from the very tender age, because at that time the brain is very fertile. So the first question I would love to ask you is how personal security and counter crime education can help to build and make it more practical, for people, even for business organizations or people who are in job when they travel alone, and to make it very normal. It's not like people feel uncomfortable to talk. Sometimes I have seen people, they feel very uncomfortable to even come out with such conversation because they have a block in their mind. So how to overcome that?
Okay, so I think the most important aspect here is that we need to first understand the micro aspect of this subject. When I say micro, I'm talking about that one thing that comes together and then makes it the bigger aspect. For example, we are individuals. A group of individuals come together to become a family. Many families come together to make a society, and then many societies come together to make a city, state, nation, and so on. So when we talk about a security culture, I think it's very important for us as individuals to understand the importance of being able to protect oneself in five parameters. The first one is
Okay.
protect ourselves physically against any harm. Second is protect ourselves emotionally, protect ourselves mentally, protect ourselves financially, and then last but not the least is spiritually. So it is
Hmm.
protection, individual protection at physical, mental, emotional, financial, and spiritual levels. Now, the challenge, what is happening right now, is that we have got so much entangled into, preparing our kids, our young, into an academic system which is focusing on the job that they would do in future.
And
Somebody would do,
memorizing.
yeah, memorizing, mugging up, and or the science, the maths, the physics, the history, the geography, and all that. We are somewhere forgetting that it is very important that we need to focus on building one's character, because it is the character, it is the strength in that character that actually is able to deliver into the profession, whatever profession you take.
Hmm.
You take any profession today, could be in acting or direction or sports or politics, or you name it. People
Hmm.
who have been there, done that, or those who have become successful are those who have had a very strong character.
Correct.
And that character comes when I know what character I am, when I know my innate principles, morals, ethics, and I am able to secure those. I am not letting the world outside influence and change those principles that I hold dear to me.
Correct.
So it is protection at these five levels: physical, mental, emotional, financial, and spiritual. So I think
Yes,
that
I
is why, that's why it's so important that we start teaching our kids the
hmm,
aspect of security.
yes. And psychologically, also one has to be very strong. I agree with you. Then one can sustain this planet, I feel. And that has to be,
Absolutely.
training has to be given from the very early stage, especially kids till 7 or 7. The way they talk at home, it's very important. Communication skills are very important because kids, they don't speak. And while I was writing Royal Paradise, I noticed that one observation happened with kids, especially in India. They don't speak. Communication. If you say, "How are you? How was your day?" and and if you see a lot of kids out of the country, they speak, "Hey, I was good." And how many friends did you make? And did you like this friend? If somebody bullied or didn't like, even among the kids, they fight and argue in their own way. They come and tell their parents, but in India mostly I've seen that communication skills are not taught even by their own parents sometimes. तो अगर बच्चे के साथ कुछ होता है, स्कूल में भी होता है, सपोज समथिंग
Correct.
हैपेंस, बच्चों में भी फाइट होती है, दैट्स अ स्मॉल लेवल स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट होता है. अ किड शुड नो हाउ टू प्रोटेक्ट द सेल्फ, लाइक टीचर को जाके बोल देना या वट एवर इट हैपेंस, लाइक. सो I have seen that all this ground level thing should have. It's my thing, okay. It's my personal like observation. I feel that teachers or parents should also integrate such kind of education to kids, not only mugging up and memorizing. Something very practical aspect in a smaller level, but it has to be ingrained inside their brain. I feel like
No,
so.
absolutely. I completely agree with what you're saying here, because a lot of I mean, this is a survey that I read somewhere, statistic that says that a kid listens to the word "shut up" over 40,000 times during his childhood.
Correct.
So our everything in the in the academics, in the school, at home, that "shut up, shut up, shut up" is so much that the kids, that shut up actually gets into them, and they stop talking.
Yes. Correct.
Or they feel that if I talk, maybe I'm not talking right, because sometimes people around us, they start laughing when we talk, as kids.
Correct.
Okay,
Hmm.
and we don't know why they are laughing. So we think that,
Yeah.
oh, maybe I'm not doing something right. That's why they're laughing. Correct. So
So they
it's very
suppress.
important. Yes, yes, yes. They get suppressed, and and that's those kind of kids who don't talk are the best ones to become victims, or to be
Correct.
victimized. Because, as
Big.
let's say, if I'm a bad guy, I would choose a kid who does not talk, because then he will not talk about the abuse to anyone. I'm safe.
Correct.
So I
Agree.
will never abuse. I will never abuse a kid who talks too much, because then he'll go around town, telling people what I did.
Yes, that's true. And I also think that a lot of time the mother plays a very important role here, because any child, male or female, is very, the first thing is connected to the mom. The mother's emotional state and the psychological state is very uh, important, the way it shapes a child. So what do you want to suggest about women empowerment? And there is also, in my book, there's a inner bully inside us. The inner bully will say, don't take step, I'm scared. It pulls you back, you're not good enough, you cannot do it, you cannot hit, you cannot express yourself. That is something I would love to know, like how, what to take steps for women.
I think somewhere. In fact, I was just having a chat with one of the child psychologists a couple of days back, and we were discussing on the same issue as to why, or how, what are the steps that women can take to to fix this. And I think one of the most important things here is that to let go of their baggage.
Hmm.
A lot of times what we do is, as parents, we carry our baggage from our childhood, and we try to put that baggage onto our kids.
Yes.
So it's very, very important we distinguish between the two. For
Hmm.
example, let's say, I was learning to cycle, and I fell down and I broke my leg. Now I should not be telling my kid that, hey, cycling is not safe just because I fell down.
Yeah.
Correct. So
Yes.
I need to tell my kid that, see, you know what? I fell down when I was learning cycling, and I broke my leg. But guess what? This is what I learned, that this is how you should not do the activity. So here what I'm doing is I am sharing my experience with my kid, but at the same time, I'm not making that experience limit his thought process.
Yes.
So I'm encouraging him that, hey, you go ahead, you do it, but don't do it the way I did, because I failed.
Hmm.
Correct. So that is, I think, very, very important. We need to let go of our baggage.
Baggages, and actually be, let go the narrow-minded thoughts also, and expand the horizon of thought process completely. And
Absolutely.
for that,
Absolutely.
yeah, the teachers training, women's training, like I feel the woman who is married to another home new, and a new child comes, I think the training should be in a very, very ground, subtle state. It starts from the parents, which will go to the the child, and then I also feel that teachers should also be trained in schools, not only just mugging up this kind of only on subjects, but practical training. I have told many times. To incorporate meditation, to incorporate some kind of practical activities like martial art, all this type of qigong, tai chi. Some activity needs to be ingrained in child's psychological state. देखियो physical body पे हम जब काम तभी होगा ना, then it will happen when we work more on the
Correct.
psychological level,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
The
Correct.
and then physical body also comes second time. It's the energy body first, and it has to be started from the mind first. Then the blocks will go away.
Exactly.
Then, then the emotional state, that I love myself. As you said, you have to know yourself. Like I know myself very well, my strength and my flaws. And then teaching somebody how to protect the self. The physical self will come in an autopilot state. Like, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, in fact, I gave one suggestion to one of these schools that I was interacting with. So, I told them that kids who are, let's say, first standard to, let's say, third, fourth standard, fifth standard,
Yeah.
why don't you do something called as a jam? Jam is
Hmm.
just a minute. So, what
Okay.
happens is just a minute is basically every day, the kids come with some topic that they want to talk about, that they are passionate
Okay.
about or they want to talk about, and they talk about it for 1 minute. They come in front of the class and they say, okay,
Hmm.
so today I'm going to talk about let's say skating. Let's say
Hmm.
I love skating, so I will come
Wow.
on the dais and I will talk about skating for 1 minute. So with this, what happens is that now you're putting kids, into a spot where you're encouraging them to talk about what they really like.
Hmm. I
They are
was given
sharing their feelings.
I was given that speech, and it's called extempore speech. They asked me about
Correct.
a role model in my life. I told about Mother Teresa, and I won among those bright student. I was like one of them. And then when I reached college, they wanted to. They gave a extempore speech before signing on to English literature. I said I love cow, and they said speak on cow. It was funny, but you know what? I came up with so many things about a cow, the importance of vitamin D to milk. But it was not about the cow. It was about how well you can express yourself. And before that, in
Exactly.
school,
You connect so many things.
yeah. And the training was to actually express yourself. And I felt so confident about myself. Like it was a huge crowd of kids and parents. And in sixth standard, I could speak something on helping others. It was just a random thing to speak. And the first thing came out, and my confidence went up. And I think that is the first time I felt that confident to speak out, whatever it is, to the world. Like, so I understand
Fantastic.
that.
So,
So,
yeah.
yes. So the next question would be uh, I would say domestic violence. How to protect oneself. See, violence starts from home itself. It can be how, somebody's making joke, but putting the person down. Okay, joking can be like that. So it affects the self-esteem of that person and self-confidence, and that person if attacked out of the house somewhere, तो उसके जो self esteem है, I'm not good enough, I'm not powerful enough, I'm not strong enough, वो backs हो जाता है. Like that person
Correct.
gets back, like I cannot punch back. So that is something I would love to know, how one can protect themselves if they face such kind of violence through joking. Some families, they have got even friends just putting themselves down out of jealousy, or they just think this kid is not good enough, or the family member is not good enough. How to balance that? See, the counter here is of the question: a person might be facing that at home among friends, but that person might be a solo traveler, might have to go somewhere alone and encounters a situation and is attacked, okay, and not safe at that particular moment. Now there's a contradiction going on inside the mind. I understand it. Like one part of it says you're not good enough always, and the other part, that person has to protect self. So what suggestion do you give on that stage, like to anyone who
Uh,
can face?
see, the first thing we need to understand here is that there is something called as a broken window concept.
Mhm.
Okay, now it stems from this experiment that was done where a vehicle was parked in a busy, on a busy street, and
Hmm.
uh, a window was broken
Hmm.
of one of the windows of the car was broken, and it was not fixed for the first day. The next day it was
Okay.
not fixed. For a week it was not fixed. For a month it was not fixed. And then the behavior of people around that area was monitored. So what they noticed is that when there is a broken window and you leave that window unfixed for a
Hmm.
long time, you are giving a message to people around that broken window that it's okay, nobody bothers about this broken window. But the moment you fix the window the next day, you are giving a signal to people around that, hey, you know what, there is somebody who is who's looking at that broken window and they fixed it.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'll give you a concrete example to this. Now, when somebody says something, it could be a joke, it could be a serious comment or anything, and you did not feel good about it. So they broke that window. They didn't make you feel good. So at that point of time, you are supposed to voice your opinion and fix that window. So if you don't fix that window then and there, it becomes a habit for the other person, because then he thinks that you don't care about the window.
Correct.
So they make a similar comment again and again and again, and then it becomes a habit. Correct. So that fixing the broken window is a very, very important concept in counter crime. So anytime you feel that somebody has broken the window, they've said something which is not okay with you, immediately you're supposed to stop and tell that person that, hey, you said something, I'm not okay with this, don't do it again.
This is very important. A lot of people suffer.
Exactly, because two things happen here. One, that person, maybe he did that without his notice, maybe he didn't intend to hurt you, maybe. Okay, so at that point of time, what happens is they mend themselves. They make sure that they don't say something like that again to you, they don't break the window again. But let's say that person is offending you on purpose, he will do it again. And that is when you should understand that, hey, this person is doing what he's doing because his intention is to hurt you. Correct. So then sometimes that person, that person who could be a friend or a foe, you don't know, has now got tagged as a foe. Because now he is intentionally, hurting you, in spite of you telling him that, hey, don't do it. So that's when you maintain your distance from that person and you cut off.
Don't get scared to let go people who are not good for you, for your health. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I have learned that in my life. Release. A lot of people, they feel it very difficult to let go because that person is a good friend or a family member. I think that you are your best companion. Like, if something is not good for you, cut it off and let it go. And also people who are not aware and saying it jokingly, it needs to be, make them alert that this is hurting me somewhere, like psychologically or in my self-esteem or my confidence, whatever effect it's happening, but you are doing wrong to me, or that person might be, some people have a habit of putting people down through their jokes, and that's very bad. Actually, I've seen it many times, and because I'm a healer, also a Reiki healer and a tarot card reader, a lot of people do come to me. They suffer internally and they become so weak. And if some kind of violence happens to them, the energy has become so like this, the body language also goes like this, and they cannot.
They shrink.
Counter, yeah. They cannot punch back. Like, they will just take it, and the habit becomes subconsciously, I'm submissive, and subconsciously they enjoy submissiveness. Somebody can dominate them, so that is a very interesting point. And give me at least 4 or 5. Oh yeah, tell me, you have something to say.
I just wanted to share something here. So I think it was 2017 or 2018. There was this one of the abuse case that was going viral in news, and people were talking about they were comparing women with touch me not, that plant which you touch and
touch
it
me not, there is
shrink.
a plant. around
Correct.
us.
Uh,
Yeah.
so, so you know, so I saw some girls, who were protesting on the road with a
Uh,
board, sign, and it was written "Touch me not," don't touch me.
uh,
And I
uh,
felt this is so wrong.
yeah.
You should be saying "touch me not," because what "touch me not" does, it shrinks the moment you touch.
Yes.
Correct. What you should be
Correct.
writing there is "forget me not."
Yes.
There is another plant which is called "forget me not."
Oh, really?
If
I don't
you,
know about that plant.
yes, yes,
I know
yes.
about touch
So
me
if you
not.
touch, no, no, no. There's, I think it's a flower. It's called forget me not. So if you touch that flower, it leaves the pollen or something of some material of that flower. It
Okay.
starts, it leaves an itch on your skin, and your
Oh,
skin itches, and your skin becomes red and itches like crazy.
that's forget me
So
not.
I
I need
said,
to search it.
yeah. So you write forget me not. Because that's
Oh,
what women should be like. Nobody messes with the forget me not. You stay away from
yeah.
forget me nots.
Forget me not. Touch me not is not a good energy thought, energetically,
Exactly,
because
exactly.
just, you go deep inside you and you're hiding in your shell and you don't want to come out
Correct.
of your shell. So that should not be. And I read one thing very interesting that happens with me also. Uh, Very quickly to response. Trigger point I read in your article. And I think I shared with you that I'm a Latin bachata dancer. The habit has happened that I should first protect myself while dancing. Also, when we dance with a male partner, one step we miss out, I can hurt myself because the hand might be coming from here, or any which way the person might give me a step, and it is not known, by the way. So they teach little bit like a kung fu. The first step is to protect yourself and also protect the other person if while dancing. Now if one step goes wrong, I can hurt that person. First I'll hurt myself, that person I did hurt. Also I hurt people, punch them in their eyes many times. So that's part of it. You learn any kind of martial art or this kind of dances, it happens and everybody is prepared for
True,
that.
true, true.
uh, I've hurt people also, but that's okay, they forgive me. Now the first good thing that happened is that I have become very aware, like beyond 6 7 cents, which you have shared in one of your videos. Now the immediate response is somebody's hands come, my hand goes like this first, like it just goes something like this. Like it is there in my mind, I have to protect my face. First of all, my face is very important on this showbiz business, so I have to protect my face. But any of my hand goes, but some people are not trained that way. So what is your suggestion for them, like the instant response? It can be through the mind, or the confidence. A lot of people, they try to put the person's confidence down before attacking, and they attack physically also. So in my case, because it is in my muscle memory, it is just there, I just
Correct.
know it. Like, if somebody comes from behind, I just know somebody is behind, and I don't like anybody behind me. I like anybody should be here, like I can see. It's like that. So but my reptilian brain knows the response, it is good energy or a bad energy coming towards me. So I would love to know at least 3 4 points from you, for at least people should know it, or what they are going to learn in your your practices, what you do, your trainings, if they enroll there, what they are going to learn, how they are going to enhance those capabilities and work on their muscle memory and be more vigilant.
Uh, Christina, I think the first thing here is that situational awareness.
Hmm.
As you rightly said, it's very important for me to understand what is happening around me.
Hmm.
It is now that I'm in a secured environment, that I'm wearing these earpods, or else I never do that.
Hmm.
Because the moment I put my earpods, I cannot hear anything else that's happening around me.
Okay.
Correct. And which
Yeah.
is a and which is a red flag. So the first thing what I tell people is that when you step outside your house, if you have to take a call, don't put your earpods in both the ears, because then you are deafening yourself from anything that's around you.
Correct.
Correct? So don't block your senses. Okay? So that's the first thing. Second thing what I tell people is be aware of what is happening around you. If you're walking straight, you can walk straight, but learn to look at the world, or 120 degrees, with your peripherals as well.
Hmm.
A lot of times what we do is we just keep focusing, in the front. We can
Yeah.
see there are two things here. One, I can see my finger. Okay, my finger is here right now, so I'm looking in the front. One is I can see the finger, I know there is something here. Second is becoming aware of it.
Hmm.
These are two different things. Okay, so what I tell people is when you're walking straight, become aware of what is around you. Okay, think about the things that are around you. What if this vehicle that is passing you suddenly lose balance and falls on you? Do you know where you're going to jump?
Correct.
Correct. Or do you know what you're going to do? Okay, now let's say there is a third thing is when you're walking on the street, always walk against the incoming traffic. So in India we have a right hand drive,
Hmm.
correct, which means the going is this way and the coming is this way, correct.
Hmm.
So when you're walking this side, walk on the other side of the road. So
Oh,
the
okay. I
traffic
didn't
is
know.
coming, yeah, the traffic is coming from the front, so nobody can surprise you from the back.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you can see the incoming traffic. Okay, that's a very,
Mm-hmm.
very important thing. You know what I tell people. Fourthly is when you go to shopping malls, very crowded places. Okay, always try to maintain distance from people around you.
Oh, okay.
It's very important that you maintain distance. Do not carry
Hmm.
your wallets or your mobiles in pockets where the mobile is coming out of your pocket, because it's very easy to pick it.
Yes.
Correct. Now these are all of these things what I'm sharing, these are connected to being aware. The awareness, that is very important. So it's something called as code yellow. We call it code yellow. Code yellow means you are aware, let's say around 60-65% you're aware of what is happening around you.
Hmm.
Okay, then comes code orange. And what is code orange? Code orange is when your gut feeling tells you that hey, something is not okay. Sometimes you get a feeling that okay, something is not okay
Yes.
here. Correct,
Correct.
but you don't know what is not okay. You haven't identified what is not okay, but it's just a
Yeah.
feeling. Correct. So that's your sixth sense telling you that something is not okay. So that
I got.
is code orange.
Hmm.
Okay. Now next comes code red. So from code orange, where your gut is telling you something is not okay, you go to code red when you have identified what is not okay,
Hmm.
which means that you have identified the threat, whatever that threat is. Maybe there is a gas leak, or maybe there is a short circuit somewhere, or maybe somebody following you, or somebody standing and staring at you, watching you. Could be anything. Correct. So now code yellow, you're aware. Code orange, you know something is not okay, but you don't know what. Code red, you know what is not okay.
Hmm.
Okay, now this is when you have to jump into action. Code red is when you have identified your threat. Now you need to get away from that threat. You cannot be in the same place as the threat.
Hmm. Exactly. I agree
If
with you.
it is a person, then you need to get away from that person. If it is a situation, let's say there is too much of rush, and it's mob which is going crazy, you need to get out of that mob, because the biggest challenge with being in a mob is that irrespective of how trained you are, the mob will control my safety because they are more in number. It doesn't matter if I'm trained because they overpower me. So
Right.
if they go crazy, I get hurt.
Yeah.
Correct. So irrespective of your training level, once you identify the threat, get away from that threat. Okay. And then comes code black. Now, what is code black? Code black is when you are engaging with the threat. When it was code red, you could not get away from the threat, and now the threat is bang onto you. Okay, so now you are in conflict with or in engagement with the threat. So it could be a physical fight or a verbal fight or whatever.
Correct.
So the point is, as much as you can, avoid getting into code black. Because that is a very, very nasty situation to be in, irrespective of how well you're trained.
Anything can happen in a second.
Anything can happen. I'm trained in unarmed combat, but I hate getting into code black. Why? Because I don't know what will happen.
Right.
Correct? I can become overconfident that, hey, you know what? I can face any situation, but then I'm getting overconfident. That's not a good thing for me. Correct? So always try, and your success of securing your safety is best when you are in code yellow all the time. The more you are in code yellow, the lesser are the chances that you get into code red.
Correct. And one more thing is, I've noticed that anyone who is a notorious person about to do a notorious act, a criminal or a crime, who is about to do a crime, he or she gives certain indicators,
Yes.
indicators through gestures, actions, and if we are very aware, we come to know through our gut feeling, through our observer or skill. I have got that skill. If a person is not skilled enough, but still the gut feeling will say that this space, that atmosphere is not good for you, because we have electromagnetic field right inside in our aura, auric field. Our that signals that your body is not safe here, or something is not safe about you. Your system starts telling you, and that is the time I think one should be out of the place and to find a doorway, how to get out of it, instead of facing a fight or a situation where any of the parties can hurt each other, and that, as you said, anything can happen, and police might take 5-10 minutes to reach that place. It can happen anything, they might be busy or coming together, or traffic can be there, but less than in a minute, any kind of hurt one can do to the other person, or the person who is already in a victim state maybe might get scared, can get harmed. And so I have noticed that, and I've seen in my own life too, and I've never gone wrong whenever my instinct have said that this place is not good, or don't go alone walking there. Or I travel a lot, across the globe. I have gone some cities are very safe. I feel like Dubai, I feel safe. I feel safe in Mumbai. I feel safe in Vegas. But in LA, maybe people sleep very early. I don't feel safe. But still, I don't get scared. But even though, then there's an instinct inside us. I always listen to that instinct. Like, if I feel that I should not go alone to that lane, I would not go. Anything can happen anytime. And I have faced that. Actually, there's a place called downtown LA. There are a lot of drugs people. They take drugs and they shout, they scream. I love that place. I mean, that place has got a wholesale of for gold, and I love gold. And once or twice I went, and there are nice restaurants and all. There's an instinct who told me that don't go there. Don't go to that area itself. And I've never been there. Though I like the place. Of course, there are sky roof restaurants and nice place. But I think people who are drugged, they can carry knife and anything, and they can hurt anyone to get some dollars.
True, true.
Yeah, and people say no, it is scary, of course, but people still go around. But there is something which keeps telling me, don't go there. I still, when I'm telling you, still I feel that it's my inner instinct. And they are like zombies, they're drugged and they're like this, they're screaming, they're abusing, God knows, they also don't know what it is. They don't look scary because it's far, but I feel that that can be scary too. Like, you know they
No,
can
listening, absolutely. Listening to our gut feeling is one of the most important things. It's very,
harm.
very critical.
Correct. So this is a very interesting points you gave up to our audience and gave to me also. A lot of things I'm aware of, but revising is very important. A lot of things I got to learn from you. We'll carry on this segment in next episode. And human brains are made in such a way to forget. If you give too much information, they will forget. So we'll break down the
Absolutely.
further conversation. Yeah. In our coming episodes with you, of course, and it'll be very interesting. I don't want to stop this conversation, but I would love to stop here because the whatever you said, it's very very fresh, and you explained it very well stepwise. This is something I want our audience to ingrain in them, like to their spirit inside them. And
Digest.
yes, and I want to ask you one more thing. That this is the last question here in this episode. That whoever enrolls in your training system, what is their mindset? It should be, because a lot of people are scared and they are blocked. Maybe how do you suggest them uh, not to be, uh, and what steps they should take to take the first step? I mean, just to even contact you and listen to
I
you.
think,
I'm telling you
yeah.
to.
So what
Yeah.
I do is, I think, I have an advantage, over
Hmm.
the other trainers around, in the domain. Uh, I come from a civilian background. A lot of
Hmm.
people think I'm from the armed forces, but I'm not. I'm from the civilian background. So I have been mugged at a knife point. I have got, robbed. I have got, my things have got stolen. I have got bullied, and
Okay.
have got into violence, physical violence.
Hmm.
So I have been through that journey that most people are scared of.
Hmm.
Now, having seen through that journey, what happens to one's mentality and mindset and all that. Now, coming to a mindset of a warrior, I know exactly
Amazing.
how that transition can happen.
Yes, correct.
Correct. Now, I because I've been through that. So
Hmm.
So I think the USP, what I bring to my programs, is that I take people through the transition of being a possible victim to a warrior without even
Correct.
they realizing that they have made, they've finished the journey and they've got there.
Hmm. That's interesting.
So I take them through, I start with a little bit of theory, and I teach them a small little tactics here and there, and then they start to visualize. Okay, now, okay, this is what I know. Okay, security means this, safety means this. Okay, threats means this, vulnerabilities, these are my vulnerabilities. So I take them through these subjects in a certain way, and because also of my background in life coaching, so I understand the mind as well. So I use this experience of security education and mental education, and I fuse them together, and I make help, I help my participants transform from possible
Hmm.
victims to, warriors.
Correct. Okay, I would love to say on a lighter note to our audience, we both are Aries, and Aries are warriors, natural born leaders and warriors. So you can trust whatever he's saying. We encounter this
Absolutely.
kind of thing Yeah, and subconsciously we enjoy also. I'm a fighter. I love to fight. I used to fight in school, college with men too. Okay, and I don't know how subconsciously I track. If somebody says something, I have to like give that punch by any which way. And just enjoy the moment. And there is a little bit of ego which I enjoy too. So Aries are natural born warriors. Let me put little bit of zodiac astrological part here. Aries are ruled by the planet Mars, and Mars is you cannot say prince, but was a warrior. And mostly Aries people are very courageous, very impulsive too. Sometimes that's not very good, but sometimes
Absolutely.
it's
Tell
very
me about it.
yeah. So this is the reason why I'm saying is you can trust him whatever he's saying, and we don't plan much, but we go on the way and do things. And action oriented Aries are, we don't just talk. We love actions. It's more of a physical activity
Absolutely.
also at the same time. Yeah. So you can completely trust whatever he is saying. I was very stunned and intrigued the moment you said Aries. And I love Aries people a lot. It can be male and female, and there is always interesting things going on in their life. And it is not like a safe side of their life, like, just living a very safe,
Absolutely.
cool
Absolutely.
life. There's a thrill, there's a psychological thrill going on. There's something or other, whatever you said is going on. But this brings a lot of experience because there's a counter side to it. If you'd have not, maybe the universe have prepared you also. You have faced those things or encountered those unpleasant, experiences, and that is the reason you could actually motivate and inspire and show so many people out there in the world uh, as a leader. And Aries are natural born leaders too. So you can actually come with a surrendered mind. I say surrendered mind. Why? Whenever anyone comes to learn, empty your mind. Whatever you learn, empty yourself and just go listen to him, whatever he's saying,
Absolutely.
learn from it, implement it, and I'm sure your life will be much better. You will create a new life, a new brand life, and letting go of your old, outdated self. And you will create a new version of yourself. And from that state, that is called wealth state. And now, wealth, again, I'm coming back to my book, that wealth is not about just money in the bank. Wealth is about everything, living a wholesome life. So, with that, we come to the end of this episode. Please do not forget to support this podcast and to promote your brand, or you want to enhance it. You can always come as a sponsor to our podcast and send your testimonies with every episode wherever you see or watch it. And I'll be very glad to bring you more interesting personalities in our next episode. With that, thank you so much, sir. I really
Thank you so
salute you
much. Thank
and
you so much
appreciate
for
you for
having me
this.
on the show.
Yeah, I truly appreciate you for your time. And I would love to have you more in our next episode with more interesting topic. And this is not yet the end. So we are going to bring more and more. Take care. I
Absolutely.
love you
You too, take
all,
care.
to all my audience. Yes. Anything else you want to say to our audience before we go?
Well, I think I'll just leave them with one thing, one statement, if it can be that your personal security is your personal responsibility. The day you take
Yes,
responsibility of your security, trust me, nobody can touch you.
correct. I agree with you. Okay. So take note of whatever Sir has said and make sure that you implement in that as a life lesson, not just for the moment. Take it, ingrain in it, you know, consume inside, and then you will see that it will remain in you as a in an autopilot state. Thank you so much, and thank you
Thank you so much.
all of your viewers and our audience and listeners out there across the globe. And this is Kristna Saikia signing off.